who's going to recap the contents we did in the last lesson, or shall I quickly recap it? Okay, the objectives for this topic are to define organism, organ system, which we did already. State and explain the different flowering plant organs. We are doing this. Okay, and after this we are going to state and explain 9 organ systems in the human body. So in the last class we discussed the definition of an organism, what is an organism, and what are the various levels in the organization, how the levels of the life systems are, from a cell to tissue to an organ to an organ system, and organ systems, they all make up an organism. So we also learn the definition of an organ system, and this is how the levels of the life processes are.
Hi, Miss. I just joined. Good afternoon. How are you, Miss?
Good afternoon. I'm good, dear. I was just summarizing the contents which we covered in our last lesson. Okay, we were discussing the organs of a flowering plant. So what are the 5 organs of a flowering plant, girls?
The bud, the root, the leaves, and the flower.
Very good. So it is the flower, bud, leaves, stem, and the root are the 5 organs. So we discussed about the root. The types of fruit which we discussed are, what are the 2 types of fruits we discussed?
Taproot and fibrous roots.
Very good. The taproot and the fibrous root. The examples of taproot would be, what are the examples of taproots?
Carrot.
Do we have it in our textbook? Did they give it? Yeah. No, they didn't give any examples. They just explained what is a taproot. Okay, so even I want to.
Can you give us some examples?
You want to? I gave you some examples in the last lesson. Okay, let me give it again. So how is the taproot? What is the difference between a taproot and a fibrous root? Who's going to tell me? A taproot, it grows downwards. Okay, as you can see in this picture here. Okay, while you can see
the fibrous root grows in all the directions.
All directions, right. Examples of taproots are beetroot, carrot, and the sugar beet, parsley, parsnip. All these are examples of a taproot. Okay, and what are the examples of fibrous roots? Okay, the fibrous root vegetables are
maybe spring onions.
The various grasses, okay, wheat, rice, and rosemary, coconut. All these are examples of the fibrous roots. Even for the coconut tree, if you look down the roots,
fibrous roots, dates. Come on.
Fibrous roots, they what?
Dates.
Dates.
Yes.
Okay. Date, I'm not sure. I need to check if date plant, is it a fibrous root or a taproot. Let me check.
Okay.
Give me a moment. Yes, very good. It is a fibrous root, even date. Okay, so all these are examples. You can remember only about 2 to 3 examples for fibrous roots and 2 to 3 examples for taproot, and that would be enough. Okay, for taproot, you may remember carrot, beetroot, parsnip, which are very common examples. And for fibrous roots, you may remember the dates, coconut, and the grass. Okay, so these 3 would be the common examples which you can easily remember for the fibrous roots. Then moving ahead, we discussed about the roots which can develop with special features like the orchids in the rainforest. And we also discussed about the nematophores, which what do they do? Which grow upwards to the surface in order to catch the oxygen from the air. So these are the special type of roots.
Then coming what? Sorry for disturbing, but page what?
They do what?
Page.
Date. You want to know today's date?
No,
It's
page. The page of the book.
Okay. Page is page number 31. Okay, page number 31. Then we were discussing about the stem. Okay, under the stem we discussed what are the functions of the stem. They transport the water and the food. It transports the water and mineral ions from the roots to the rest of the plant, and also it helps in supporting the leaves, flowers, in storing the food for some parts of the some parts like trees. Okay, some plants like trees. Okay, then stems of most plants, they grow upwards and support themselves. And we also studied about the type of stems like the tendrils, which grow like spring, coil around themselves to any support which they find. Sorry?
I just joined.
Okay, great. We were just
because the tendrils can support itself.
Okay, it's already 1:24. It's 10 minutes past. I'll quickly recap and then we can start the lesson. Okay, then we also talked about the ginger, which is also an example of stem. Then we spoke about the types of leaves. Did we do the leaves? We were doing the leaves, right? So leaves, they can have many shapes, as you can see in this picture over here. They can be long and thin. They can be spear shaped, round shaped, oval, or divided into lobes. So some, such as holly leaves, they have spines. Okay, you have a very few plants that have leaves that can catch insects. One of the examples of such type of a plant is a Venus flytrap. Okay, so Venus flytrap is an example of a plant, as you can see in this picture over here.
Venus is the thing that eats the insects.
Venus flytrap, it eats the insects. Okay, whenever the insect tries to land on that particular leaf, it closes. And then it produces enzymes with the help of which the insect is digested, and they absorb those nutrients of that particular insect. Okay, so such type of leaves which swallow the insects are also examples of leaves which are Venus flytrap, and these are the examples of holly leaves which have spines. Also, many of the desert plants, they have spines on their leaves, right? The cactus, right? And even which is the other plant which has thorns on its leaves?
I know, I don't know the name in English. Wait, let me translate it.
Like the needles at the end of the leaves, it has needles. Let me show you.
Aloe vera.
Aloe vera. Okay, so these are the types of the cactus plants. All of them, they have thorns. Aloe vera, does it have?
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes it has. Yes. Aloe vera, even that it has thorns. So it has these thorns on its leaves, so you cannot cut it at all. So in aloe vera, this is a leaf or a stem, which you can see here. Is this a leaf or a stem?
Leaf.
A leaf.
You're sure it is a leaf?
No, it's a stem because there is no stem in there. There should be stem, so it's a leaf.
Yeah, it's a leaf or a stem?
I mean a stem.
Yes, it is a stem. Okay, so that is why its name is not included in the leaves with thorns over here. Why? Because aloe vera, the stem which we actually cut thinking it's a leaf, it's actually a stem. Okay, so these are the examples of the various types of leaves. You can see it produces food, it stores food in their bases. In some plants like onion, you can see the onion bulb over here, and its leaves, what does it do? It stores food in their bases, and we all know that leaf, it is known as the kitchen, because the process of photosynthesis, it takes place in the leaf itself. Yeah.
So what kind of root is the aloe vera's root?
We are talking about the stem here, not the root though.
Okay.
You want to know, the root is under the soil. This thing is the stem itself. It is the stem.
Yes. Okay, miss. So the cactus is a
Fibrous roots?
What?
is a cactus a leaf?
You're saying, is it a type of a leaf or a stem?
I think it is a stem, but is it fibrous roots or tap roots? I think fibrous.
Okay, let me check.
Yeah, miss. And also for cactus leaf.
cactus, it is a leaf. Yes.
Yeah, cactus has small
It should be a
flowers.
leaf.
Miss, we have this small round cactus, a small one that you put it in the living room, but
It's in pot. Okay.
it is real, but it has this like it has some water that comes out of it, and the water freezes suddenly like this. And it sticks to the thing.
Yeah. So these all type of desert plants, even they survive even if you don't water them. Okay, they can survive for longer periods, but still yet at least once a week you need to water them. The cactus, it is the leaf itself. But let me tell you about the root for the aloe vera plant. They have the root system which is fibrous. Okay, though it is fibrous, it is very, very shallow. Shallow, why? In order to absorb more water, because it can survive even without the presence of water. Okay, basically the root of the aloe vera plant, it is a fibrous root. Okay, and what was the next other question you were asking me? If the cactus plant, is it a stem or a leaf, right? I believe it is.
Can I ask the question?
Let me check. It is, I believe, leaf itself.
Actually, it can be both.
Miss, I had this one that you clicked on. It gets like some water out of it.
The small one, right? Yeah, I know. So let's check out. Is cactus a leaf or a stem, which you see above the ground? There are again various types of cactuses. Almost all cactus are succulents. Succulents meaning very small growths which you can see in the potted plants, meaning they have thickened fleshy parts adapted to store water. Unlike many other succulents, the stem is the only part of most cacti where this vital processes take place. So most species of cacti, they have lost true leaves, retaining only spines which are highly modified leaves. Okay, so in the cactus plant, if you see the thorns, they are highly modified leaves, whereas the thing which you see, this is the stem. Okay, so this particular thing, you stem itself, thorns, okay, thorns. And this particular fleshy part is the stem. Okay, so they are adapted. The leaves are adapted in the form of thorns or spikes. Why? In order to absorb or retain water. Because if they are like normal leaves, the surface area would be more and more water would be evaporated. Okay, so that is an adaptation of all the type of desert plants in order to retain water. They turn the leaves into a very highly specialized leaves called as thorns in order to retain more water. Okay, so let's get back to our lesson. So the various types of leaves we have are like this. It can have many shapes. It can be oval, heart shape, round shape. And you have some of the leaves like these holly leaves which have spines at the end. And very few plants they have, they can also eat the insects like the Venus flytrap. And they close quickly over the insect when it settles on them. Okay, and it traps the insects inside and then it later digests it with the help of the digestive enzymes which are released. Okay, so that's it about the leaf. Let's talk about a flower. A huge number of plants, they use insects to help them reproduce and have developed brightly colored flowers to attract them. Okay, so all the plants which reproduce with the help of insects. Now what does that statement mean?
Like pollination?
Yeah, pollination takes place with the help of the insects. So insects, what do they do when they land on the flower? The pollen of the male part of the flower, it gets attached to these insects' legs. Okay, and these insects, they carry the pollen from one flower to the female parts, which is ovaries of another flower. Okay, this is how the pollination takes place, and a new plant is again formed. Okay. That is why, in order to attract the insects, so these flowering plants, all of them, they have very bright, beautiful colors, or they have very good scent in order to attract these insects. Also, some plants, they have honey in them, honey, nectar. So the various kinds of insects like butterflies, the bees, and all, they land on the flowers, either attracted by the color or the scent, or they want to collect the nectar from the flowers, and this is how they help in the pollination. When the pollen, it gets stuck to their feet or legs, and then it is carried to the other parts. Okay, the flowers, they can be shaped like a bell, a star, a cross, a saucer, a tube, or even a trumpet. Okay, so you know the various types of beautiful flowers which you see in the nature. They are of various colors, varied scents, and varied shapes. Which is your favorite flower? You can see the various flowers here on the screen.
Yeah, I like the lotus.
Which
They're
one?
beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, they're lovely. Okay, so you can see the names also. They are wheel-shaped, and you can see the bell-shaped ones, the urn-shaped ones.
This one is nice.
Which one is the?
The third one, the pink.
The third one, the name is Urceolate. Urceolate. It is quite a beautiful flower with a very interesting shape.
And also the purple one, the one in the middle.
Yeah, and the first.
This one? Yeah, it is a funnel
And the
form.
first
It is a
one.
funnel form. Very good.
The
Okay.
first one.
Yeah. So these are the ones, but the common ones which we know are the sunflower, the rose, the dahlia, and which are the jasmine. So
The daisy.
yeah. So all these flowers, the lotus, these ones are the ones which we know commonly. Okay. So let's move on to the last part of the flower, which is the bud. What is the bud? The plant buds, they vary in size, shape, and color, and some buds, particularly tree buds, they can be used to identify a plant. Okay, so yeah.
Is the bud the small flower which still didn't open?
Yeah, the bud is, you can either call it a small flower which can bloom into a flower, or sometimes the buds, they also turn into fruits in some of the plants, some of the fruiting
That's
plants.
interesting.
Yes, it is very interesting. It contains tiny new branches, leaves, and flowers which are ready to grow.
Miss?
And these are delicate structures, so the outside of the bud, it forms a covering to prevent them from being damaged as they start to grow. So you can see all of the buds, they have the sepals outside them. That is a protective covering leaves which are green colored, which are folded. And as and when the bud blooms, those sepals, and you can see the bud either growing into a flower or a fruit. Yeah. Anybody has a question? Okay, so buds. I'm sorry.
I said I don't think so. Anybody has a question?
Okay, great. So plant buds, they vary in size, shape, and color, and some buds, particularly the tree buds, they can be used to identify a plant. So you see the pictures of various buds over here. This is the sweet chestnut. This is the bud of a pear, cherry, ash, oak, poplar, maple, beech. Yeah.
What is ash?
Ash is also the name given to some tree, like maybe it gives fruit, like what is it called? Ash gourd. You know the vegetable which is known as ash gourd, like bottle gourd, and this gourd, it is very big in size. Okay, so I believe it is that particular tree. Okay, then we have all of these are fruiting, the buds of the fruiting plants or trees. You can see the pear, sweet chestnut, cherry, all these, they give you fruits, right? The maple, all of them. Okay, so that is about the parts of a flowering plant, or the 5 organs of a flowering plant. Is it clear? Any doubts so far?
No, alhamdulillah.
No, Miss.
Okay, so let's quickly move on to the organs of human body, which is quite interesting. So now we are on page number 33. Okay, so under this topic we are going to study about the 9 organ systems in the human body. Okay, so in animals and all the humans, mammals basically, there are groups of organs that work together to carry out a task to keep the animal alive. And these groups are called organ systems, and each system performs tasks related to one or more of the life processes. Okay, for example, each and every system in our body, each and every organ system, it carries out a specific function. Like circulatory system, what are the parts, organs included in the circulatory system?
The heart.
The heart and the arteries and the veins.
Yeah.
And the blood.
Blood, excellent. So you can say heart, blood, arteries, and veins. So what is the function of the circulatory system? The heart, it pumps the blood.
To move blood to the whole body.
Right. So the oxygenated blood, it is carried to the whole body with the help of arteries, and the veins, they carry the deoxygenated blood back to the heart. Okay, so this particular function, it can be carried out only by the circulatory system. Can it be carried out by the excretory or any other system?
No.
No. Okay, so each and every system in the body, it has a specific function, and all of these, they need to work together in homeostasis for an animal or a human to function properly. That is, for our life processes to work, all these systems, they need to work hand in hand. Okay, the 9 systems which we are going to study are skeletal system, muscle system, circulatory system, respiratory, digestive, nervous, excretory, sensory, and endocrine system. Okay, so these are the various systems which you can see on the slide. First, we are going to start with the skeletal system. Okay, let me show you a very nice video about the skeletal system before we start. Give me a moment, please. Tell me if the audio is clear.
Yes.
Systems of the human body.
It's clear, actually.
Skeletal system. Bones. The skeletal system is made up of bones, joints, and cartilage. Bones are hard and they support our whole body. If we didn't have bones, our body would be like jelly or a jellyfish. Joints connect our bones and allow movement in our skeleton. Cartilage is softer and more elastic than bones, and you can find it in your nose and ears. The muscular system and skeletal system make a system. We have like our skull, spinal cord, humerus, ribs, and femur bones. Other bones that we have are jawbone, vertebrae, clavicle, shoulder blade, ulna, radius. Sternum, pelvis, kneecap, tibia, fibula. Have you enjoyed this video about...
Okay, so those are the various types of bones. So how many bones are present in the human body?
More than 200.
Yeah. So what is the exact number if I ask you?
I think 260.
Yes.
206.
206 bones in the human skeleton.
Is it right?
Each. I'm sorry?
I got it right?
Yeah, it is 206. There are 206 bones in the human skeleton. Each arm and hand together, it has 30 bones. Arm and hand together. And each leg and foot together, it has 30 bones again. And the skeleton accounts for 15% of the mass of the body. Okay, so out of your body weight, 15% is the weight of your skeleton itself. Okay, and the tissue of the skeleton bone, it is hardened as it takes calcium from the digested food. So our skeleton, it is completely made up of calcium, our teeth and our skeleton. Okay, and the calcium, it is taken from the food we eat. So which are the calcium rich foods we eat?
Milk, yogurt, cheese.
Yes.
Water,
All the
milk,
milk and
dairy
milk
products.
Water
and dairy products.
All the dairy products, yes. Milk, the water, and all the dairy products, all of them are very rich in calcium. So you need to, growing children need to include lots and lots of calcium rich in your diet so that your skeleton, it grows and you get a very good height. Okay, so you can see the same parts of the skeleton as we just now watched in the video. The closer look at the skeleton and muscles is the skeleton is and the protection, the skeleton and support, the skeleton and movement. What does that mean? That is how the skeleton is used for protection and support and movement is what we are going to study further.
And support our organs.
Yeah, right. Okay, so how is the skeleton used as a protection? Can you tell me?
Yes, the rib cage saves the lungs, it covers the lungs and the heart.
Yes, and the skull protects the brain. And the vertebra, I think, protects the spinal cord.
No, I think that the vertebra supports the other bone on the leg.
Yes, in your back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. So the skull, it protects our brain because our brain is very, very soft. It is covered by a protective skull outside. Similarly, we have our rib cage covering the lungs and other internal organs, and also we have the spinal cord. Okay, and all of this, you can see our backbone, which gives us a support. Okay, and for everything we have a support and we have a protection. Okay, so we can say the main function of the skeletal system is protection.
Miss?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we have to know like the every bone or memorize in the book?
No, not required. I mean, you don't have to learn about each and every bone as we watched in the video, or it gave you the skeleton. It's there on the page number 34. You need not know each and everything. I shall highlight whatever you need to know. Okay?
Okay.
So how is the skeleton used for protection? The brain and the spinal cord, they form the central nervous system and are made from very soft tissue. They could be easily damaged without a hard covering. So the bones of the skull, they are fused together to make a strong case around the brain. Okay, so both our spinal cord, we can say, and the both of them, they are very, very need to be covered by a protective outer covering. Like the skull, it covers our outer, the brain. It is like a case which encloses the brain. Okay, and the backbone, it is made up of 33 bones known as vertebrae. A single one is known as a vertebra, and there is a hole in each vertebra through which the spinal cord runs. The column of vertebrae, it makes a tube of bone around the spinal cord, and there are gaps between the vertebrae through which nerves pass from the spinal cord to the body. Okay, so the vertebrae which are present in the back, as you can see in this picture here, so it has holes through which the nerves of the spinal cord, they run. Okay, so basically this provides a very good protection not only for our spinal cord but also for our brain. So the ribs and the backbone, they form a protective structure around the lungs and the heart. So not only the spinal cord, the rib cage which we have at the front, these ribs, it provides a very good protection for the organs which are present in that area, which are our lungs, heart, and also the various things which are present under the rib cage. Okay, so this is how the skeleton, it provides the protection. So the main function of the skeletal system is providing protection to the internal organs of the body, which are made up of very, very soft tissue so that they do not get damaged. Okay, then you can see in this picture also, this is the picture of a skull. The bone of skull are fused together to make a strong case around the brain. So these are the 8 cranial bones which you can see. This is occipital, this is temporal, this is parietal, frontal bone, this is sphenoid bone, and this is ethmoid bone. Okay, so all these, they fuse together to form our skull, which protects our brain. Clear? No, you don't have to memorize these names. I will tell you what all to memorize. So just try to concentrate on the topic, because these are like tongue twisters for you. Okay, so this you can see is skeleton for protection. This is the spinal cord. You can see it runs in between the vertebrae. And this is the vertebral body, okay, and this is the spinous process, and this is the discs between the vertebrae, and this is the nerve root, okay, and this is the pedicle. So basically the spinal cord, it runs between the various vertebrae, it passes through the holes present in the vertebrae, and you also have the gaps between the vertebrae for your easy movement, okay, so that you can move and you can carry weights and you can do your daily activities. So this is how, subhanallah, your skeleton, your backbone is made. Okay, and you can see again the skull, it protects your brain, the vertebrae, they protect your lungs and the heart, the internal organs, and the spinal cord, it is covered by the vertebrae. So basically the vertebral column, which from the neck to your waist, it not only covers or protects the spinal cord, it also protects your lungs and the heart and the internal organs. Clear about the protection function?
Yes, Miss, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Yes, Miss, thank you.
Okay, so on this slide we can see why we have gaps between the vertebrae. So see, you have these gaps between the vertebrae here, so nerves can pass from the spinal cord to the body. Okay, so these the nerves which carry the various stimuli from the brain to the rest of the body, these nerves, they pass through the spinal cord here, through these holes. So that is why you have these gaps in between the vertebrae. Clear, girls? The same picture you also have in your textbook on page number 5. You have the picture of a skull and you have a picture of the spinal cord to the right. Fair enough. So let's talk about the function of the support, the skeleton and the support. How does it provide support to your body? The organs that form systems such as the digestive, circulatory, excretory and respiratory systems, they account for 20% of the body's weight. Okay, and the organs are made from soft material and have no strong supporting material inside them. So the bones of the skeleton, it provides a strong structure to which the organs are attached. They allow the organs to be spread out in the body without squashing into each other. The muscles, they account for 45% of the body's weight, and they are also made from soft tissue but gain their support from the bones to which they are attached. Okay, so this skeletal system, it provides a support to our body. The various systems which run in our body, as you can see in this picture. Okay, so we know the various systems where they are. We have the circulatory system here, we have the excretory system here, the kidneys and all. Then of course we have the muscular system which runs throughout the entire body. We have the nervous system. So all these systems, they are made up of soft tissue and flesh. Okay, they need a support, a strong support of a skeletal system, so that they can have their specific place in the body, so that they don't get squashed into each other. And also we already studied about the protection, how they get protection from the skeletal system. So under this function, we are talking about how the skeletal system supports the various systems in our body. Okay, be it circulatory system, you know how the nerves run in our body in the circulatory system. Have you ever observed the tiny nerves which carry the blood in our body? So it is so intricate, the circulatory system. It runs throughout the entire body, our veins, our arteries. So all of these, so that they do not get intermingled or they do not get squashed, the skeletal system, it gives each and every system a support, because each and every system, it attaches to the skeletal system for support and also for protection. Clear, girls?
Yes.
So the organs of other systems of the body, they account for 20% of the body weight, and the muscles, they account for 45%. And the organs that form digestive, circulatory, excretory and respiratory systems, they are made up of very soft tissue, so they need support. The bone, it provides strong structure to whichever organ it is attached, and it prevents organs squashing into each other. Okay, so like this, it provides a strong support to all the organs which are attached to the skeletal system. And the third function of the skeletal system is the movement. Okay, so only with the help of the skeletal system, it is possible for us to move. Okay, the place where bones meet is known as a joint. You know where we have joints in our body? Where do we have?
Yes. On knees and our ankle.
Knees, our hand, our arm, and the shoulder, and the knees, and the knees.
Yes, excellent. We have joints in our knees, which are known as the hinge joints, knees and elbows. We have one more joint known as the ball and socket, which is where our hip is. Okay, you know the hip and the round structure like a ball that fits into the cup-shaped pocket. And also one near our shoulders. Okay, near the shoulders, like you can rotate your hand in a circular way. Like you can turn your cameras on and show it to me, like how you can rotate your hands. But we have only 1 minute left. Oh, I'm so sorry for that. Okay, but I can open my camera just for a minute and show you.
Yeah, Miss. Don't forget